If you are looking for a get rich quick scheme, keep scrolling. I'm not talking to you. This video is for anybody who has been struggling to monetize their expertise. You are somebody who has an established body of knowledge, whether you have been working in your field for X amount of years, you have certain qualifications and education behind your specific area of study. You have a system, a process, a signature system that you know works to get results for your clients. And outside of time-based service, you've been struggling to monetize your business. Whether you are a business owner, whether you are somebody who's just looking to do this on the side as a side hustle or freelancer, you know what you know, and you know that you could be making more money with what you know. You just can't figure out how to make it happen. I have 3 reasons that I want to share with you today about why it's been so hard. And hopefully this gives you some insight and it helps you to plan your next steps forward. So the reason number 1 is you can find yourself overthinking. And by overthinking, I mean you're constantly considering the idea that maybe there is something that you can do to monetize your business. Maybe you write a book. Maybe you launch an online course. Maybe you start making short form video on TikTok or Instagram. Maybe you start a YouTube channel. Whatever it is, you spend a whole lot of time thinking and overthinking and rethinking and never actually moving beyond the thinking portion. Now, as a chronic overthinker myself, thinking is not bad, right? Planning is necessary. However, when the planning becomes, I don't want to use the word obsessive, but when it becomes the only thing that we do, when it becomes the substitute for action, is when we begin to have a problem, right? Because at the end of the day, we have a goal, right? We have a desire at the very least. We have this vision of what the end of this process is supposed to look like. We want to have more money in our bank account. We want to be known for a specific solution. We want to be able to help people, right? And if we get caught up in overthinking, we're not able to do that. And one way that you can get out of overthinking is to post something. Just post something, right? Post a short form video. You can go a little bit further and record like a 3-minute YouTube video and just post it. The thing is not, the focus isn't necessarily the posting. It isn't the action of posting. It's not, oh, let me just start this. It's literally do an action that's going to get you out of your head. And in order for it to count, that action has to be in public. That action has to be outside of yourself and outside of your comfort zone, because we are comfortable thinking. We could think all day and all night for weeks, but in order to shift yourself out of that process, out of that headspace, out of that posture, you have to do something that is completely contrary to what you are already doing. Let's say you are sitting in your car, it's idling, but you want to go down the road. In order for you to get from where you are to down the road, you have to shift out of park and into drive, and you actually have to take the steps to get, down the road. You have to turn the wheel, you gotta press the gas, you gotta then press the brakes when you turn so that you can shift gear and then move forward. You get my point, you get my analogy, right? The thing is, you have to shift out of the place where you are right now, which is stuck and thinking and overthinking. And the best way to do that is with action, right? The second reason is what I've heard called the curse of expertise, right? And this is simply thinking that what you know is simple. And because what you know is simple, everybody else should know it. And because everybody else should know it, there's one, not real or true value behind what we know. And then 2, when we do move beyond the thinking, and let's say we are putting ourselves out there, it becomes really easy to stay at a surface level of expertise, because the truth is there are 2 levels of expertise. There's the information that you can give to your audience that is very much the same as everybody else who is offering the same information, and then there's your unique perspective that is underneath that. And your unique perspective is the thing that controls or influences, let me say that influences not only the way that you present the information, but the way that you teach it and the way that you apply it to people who resonate with who you are as an individual, right? So there's two levels of your expertise. And one of the main reasons that you could be struggling to monetize your expertise is because you're focusing on the top layer, which is just that information, and not focusing on the bottom layer, which is you as the individual. This is why you can see a lot of content in a particular area and they all sound the same, or they use a lot of industry jargon, because it's really difficult for you to not define, but to break down a complex concept if you are not allowing yourself to pull from examples or your unique perspective. Because my brain is farting. My brain is farting in the middle of this video. But it's one thing for me to use the same analogy as everybody else, but it's another thing for me to use an analogy that I know resonates with myself personally, and because it resonates with myself personally, I'm able to speak through that analogy and show up more presently and be more personable and have a deeper connection with my audience through the use of that analogy that feels, but let's use the word comfortable for lack of a better word, but that feels comfortable to me, and it allows me to show up differently. And so maybe I've gotten a little bit off my topic, but the thing that you want to remember is that in order to monetize your expertise, you have to show up as yourself. You have to leverage both tiers, both levels of your expertise: your lived experience, your professional experience, your unique perspectives, and your personality. That contributes to your expertise. All of those things blend together to define your unique zone of genius. And to deny that is to deny your audience something that can actually help them. And it also keeps you stuck, right? It keeps you stuck because you subconsciously, and I feel like I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but subconsciously, the brain wants to remain safe. And if you're putting yourself, or not remain, but the brain wants to keep you safe, right? That's one of the core functions of the brain. And one of the ways that it does that is it keeps you comfortable. And so if you put yourself in a position where you are not comfortable, not from the point of view of growth or of getting out of your comfort zone, but from the point of view of pretending to be somebody that you're not, it throws up all kinds of resistance within your mind that makes the process of creating the content, putting out the programs or the digital products or whatever it is, going down this path more difficult. Why? Because you're fighting yourself. Why? Because you're not operating in the authenticity of who you are. And I've gone on a bit of a tangent, but just consider it. And so to combat that, you want to look at not just your skills and your education and what you know, but you also want to look at your personality. You also want to look at your lived experience. You also want to look at your history, your perspectives, the things that you believe. And then you want to also consider your reputation, right? What do people say about you within this specific area? So if you work in this area in your job, what do past customers say about you? What do your colleagues say about you in this specific area? You want to be specific. Consider those things and see what commonalities show up. Make a note of what is comfortable. Make a note of what feels aligned or right. And so maybe I should be using the word align instead of comfortable. We'll consider it. My third reason is that you're not considering the point of view of your audience, right? So I've spoken with a lot of entrepreneurs, specifically like small business owners, people who want to start side hustles, people who want to monetize their expertise, who spend a lot of time, again, focusing on that first tier of information and not focusing on what the audience needs, what they need to hear, what they need to understand, what they need to know in order to make informed decisions, not just to work with you, but in order to take the step on the journey of transformation that your expertise, that your information, that your process, your signature system is actually going to take them on. And some of the people that I've worked with, even though I've ghostwritten content for them, like sales content, actually writing the digital product and like creating the digital product content and design and everything, a lot of those people didn't move forward because they didn't have the perspective that the audience's POV should be the first thing that they consider. And that means when you are sitting down with the intent to define a path to monetize your expertise, you should be defining that path along your customer transformation journey. How do you take your customer from point A, their starting point, to point B, or not B, let's say Z, easy. How do you take them from A to Z in the steps of your process? What are those steps? What are the milestones along that journey? And once you know what that customer transformation journey is, then you can begin to look at each step along that journey, the milestones that need to be accomplished before they can move on. You can look at those and be like, okay, what does this person need to know, hear, understand, see, acknowledge about themselves, about the situation, etc. at this stage in order to get them to the next stage, right? And you do that along the journey, and you begin to not just have a better understanding of your ideal client, but you have a better understanding of what's going on in their head, which is important. You have a better understanding of how they speak about themselves, how they speak about the problem, how they speak about their situation, what they're seeing in their day-to-day life. And all of these things, they build up and they support your body of knowledge, but they also make it really easy to sell when you get to that stage. And I'm having to reel myself in because I can go on around on this as well. But one of the main reasons why people struggle to sell their products is because they rely on tactics and trends because they don't have this foundational knowledge of who their ideal audience, their ideal client is, their ideal customer is, who this person is, what they need, where they are, what they see, what they know, what they understand. And because they lack this, they struggle, right? And so when you don't consider the audience's POV, everything else becomes unstable, it becomes a hit and a miss, and you have to rely on trends and etc. in order to make any headway in your business, because this is the data that you actually need to be paying attention to. This is the data. So, how to combat that? When you are deciding these things, you want to be really specific, right? You want to get real specific on who the single person is that you are helping in you're helping with your expertise. And yes, your expertise can be applied to several different audiences, potentially, right? Like mine, I help people to say what they need to say and so they can get paid. And I've already defined that I can help aspiring self-publishing authors, whether they self-publish or not, but aspiring authors to say what they need to say in their books and in their book marketing so that they can sell more books. I can help online entrepreneurs and then small businesses in general, specifically service providers who have a signature system, a process that they know works, to package their expertise, promote it in multiple different ways, and then profit from it in multiple different ways. And then I can also help, and this is more of a want than anything else, but nonprofits, right? How do you say what you need to say to funding bodies and in your grant applications so that you are able to actually attract and secure the funding that you need in order to operate your nonprofits? My brain just did a complete fart. I need coffee. That's what it is. This is why we don't skip coffee, okay? All these people talking about coffee is not good for you. Lies and deception. That's what it is. But yeah, you want to get really specific on who is the single individual that you are helping, right? So I can have one single individual who is one author, one aspiring author, one entrepreneur, one nonprofit, or what I started to do, somebody who is a service provider in the day-to-day business who either works for a for-profit or they work for a non-profit. They have a body of expertise that they know that they can be leveraging, and they want to write a book, or they're in the process of writing a book and they need help writing it and publishing it. And so in that way, this one person embodies all three of my audiences, or I can split it up. It really doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, you need to get specific with it. Whatever it is you choose to do, you need to get specific with it. Be very specific. So in marketing, there's this thing called the rule of one, right? When you, instead of trying to talk to multiple people, when you speak to one person, you are able to reach all of the persons who resonate with that one identity, right? So when you speak to one person with one problem, and you present them with one solution, and you speak to them one message, you're able to better define your messaging, better define your marketing. It's easier to create content, it's easier to create digital products because you know the journey, you know what it is that they need, you know where they are, you know what they're looking at. You get my point. Now, I do have a bonus point. People are taking poor shortcuts. And this is the point where I go on a rant, right? I go on a little bit of a tangent, because why would you want to buy something that everybody else has? Why would you try to sell something that everybody else is selling? Listen, I am all for templates. I am all for making your work as easy as possible. What I cannot get behind is this idea of master resale rights and private label rights. Because as somebody who has had to edit those documents for previous clients, let me explain something to you. It's going to take you longer to edit those documents, to make it your own, to fit the content that is in those documents to your own expertise if you're actually trying to help people. If you're just here to make a buck, clearly I'm not talking to you. I don't even know how you got this far in the video. But if you are actively trying to help people, if that is what you want to do in your business, if that is why you want to monetize your expertise, going the route where you buy these private label right products is not going to work. It's not going to work good. Again, as somebody who has had to do this for clients, it's going to take you longer to edit the content to fit your unique perspective, to fit your unique expertise. Literally, I had one client and she was so upset because she thought I was trying to take her money. But really, I walked her through the process. I will say the industry. I won't say the name or whatever it is because I can't of non-disclosure agreements. But basically, I literally had to take her through her information, her body of knowledge, her zone of genius, then the content that she wanted to include in this digital product that she had bought. And she was like, oh, it's a PLL product. We'll just make a couple of edits and we can just sell it really quickly. I had to take her through her content and take her through the content that was in the PLR. Not only was some of that content incorrect, different topic for a different day, but it was based on information. It was based on that first tier of expertise, right? And in order to change what they had, the formatting, the structure and everything else, to make it not only match her unique body of knowledge and her personality, her writing style, her voice style, it just wasn't good, first of all. And so when I showed her the amount of work that would have been required to do this from this, she was like, we have to start from scratch. And I was like, yes, I will literally be taking 99.9% of this. Probably, I think I left most of the page styles the same. I changed the cover, changed some of the page styles, but most of the actual written content in that had to be taken out. It had to be taken out because it did not match her. And when you are, one, committed to helping people, two, committed to building a brand that's actually going to last, you can't take shortcuts like that. Those are not the type of shortcuts you want to take. The shortcuts you want to take, work with a ghostwriter. Hi, My name is Tremaine. I'm a ghostwriter. Shortcuts you want to take? Work with a copywriter. Hi, my name is Tremaine. I'm also a copywriter. The shortcuts you want to take? Buy a template that you can easily edit, a design template for the format of your work. Shortcut you want to take? Instead of having to type your content out, pull up a transcription service like Descript or Otter, or literally, honestly, Google Docs has a voice typing function. Pull that bugger up and just, if you are somebody who is really good and you know what it is that you want to create, you can just speak it out. But if not, work on an outline and then speak to that outline. That's a shortcut that you can take to create your digital product, to monetize your expertise. MR and PLR, and I do believe there's another one, I could be wrong, but all the R's, stay away from them, please. I promise you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If, like I said, if you were just here to make a buck, I still don't know how you've gotten this far in the video, but I'm not talking to you. If you are actually interested in monetizing your expertise in service of other people, then I'm talking to you. These are not the shortcuts you want. This is not what you want. This is not what you want, I promise you. But yeah. Hi, my name is Tremaine, and I am on a mission to help you to very quickly package, promote, and profit from your expertise. If you like this video, you've stayed for this long, definitely hit the subscribe button. I upload videos every Tuesday and Friday, and you don't want to miss it.